What's going on, guys? It's your boy GS bringing you guys another online Madden 13 ranked match. And today we are going ahead and giving you guys some Indianapolis Colts gameplay. Again, I have played with possibly every team. I have every team already lined up. I have lots of gameplay saved up. So, I'm definitely looking forward to getting all these teams out that you guys have been requesting. And as you see, we're going ahead with the Jacksonville scheme. And I'm really curious to see how it works with the Colts. And my opponent selects the Washington Redskins, and that always makes for a good matchup. You have RG3 going against Andrew Luck, and that's, always a good fun matchup to watch when you have two top rookies going against each other. And again, I'm really curious to see how my offensive scheme works with the Colts. They don't have a blazingly fast running back. Outside of Reggie Wayne, they really don't have any fast receivers or any go-to receivers that I'm really, trying to look forward to outside of Reggie Wayne. And as always, my game plan is always the same offensively. Put the ball in my playmaker's hands. And in this case, it's Reggie Wayne. So I'm, trying my best to give him the ball as much as possible. So to begin the game, he has the ball first right there. He tries a play action. And right there, he wiggles his way out of a computer sack. And, but we end up stopping the play to get it to 2nd and 10. Right here, RG3 sits in the pocket, throws to the right, but it's incomplete. So we hold him to a 3rd down. And right here's a crucial down. If we can stop him here, maybe he'll go ahead and punt. And that's what happens. We get a stop, and it's 4th down, and he ends up punting us the ball. So, that's always a great morale booster when you're able to stop somebody in their first offensive possession. And it's even better if you could go ahead and put points up. So, right now we're testing his run defense right here. We're going with Donald Duck Brown right here to see if we can get anything going. And right there we go to Reggie Wayne right there on the left side. My boy Reginald Wayne coming through, and he comes through in a big way. He ends up scoring a touchdown. And like I said, I know who my playmakers are, and Reginald Wayne is by far my best and most efficient playmaker on offense. So I'm going to try my best to give him the ball as much as possible. So we got a 7-0 lead, and we're definitely feeling good about that. We received ball at halftime, so having that extra possession is always good. Right here, he goes over the top of the streak, but he ends up dropping. I mean, he wasn't wide open, but he definitely had, a couple of steps ahead of my defender, and he just ends up just dropping it. Should have been a touchdown, but, we're thankful that he ends up dropping it. But, after a couple of plays right here, he's getting first downs, and he's getting close to the 50-yard line. Right there, incomplete pass, so 2nd and 10. And again, I'm sticking in quarters, even though the Colts have Freeney, Ian Matthews, by the way. So, no soup for you. Look at the computer just undercutting that pass right there for an interception. On defense, we have Freeney as Donald Duck Brown ends up getting a nice run right there. We have Freeney and Matthews. We have him at the defensive line, so we're looking to get, some decent pressure right there. Come on, Reginald Wayne dropping a pass right there. Come on, son. He wouldn't do that in real life now. And right here we are held to a 3rd down, so it's 3rd and 6, and we drop back and we go to the left. We try to force feed it to Reginald, and it's dropped. So we actually batted down. So we kick our field goal. Those are free points right there. We caught an interception in great position, so I look at that, I'm not frustrated that I didn't score a touchdown. I look at that as free points. So we go up 2 possessions, and, same thing on defense, calling quarters, mixing in cover 4s with cover 2s also, a couple of blitzes, mixing in some dimes. But for the most part, I'm trying to keep as many cornerbacks on the field as much as possible. And, right here, RG3 goes up top and unsuccessful. So we got him to a 3rd and 8. This right here, again, is a big down, but he ends up converting right here. And RG3 is such an offensive weapon. Like, you have to, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I play against him, I focus so much attention on him as they end up scoring a touchdown right there. It's like I got to have contains and spies, and, it's just a headache going against somebody who's so fast at quarterback. You really just don't want him to take off, because he's not just fast enough to take off for 10 yards. He's fast enough to outrun everybody on the field. And, that's, not what I want. So, it's definitely a headache going against somebody like that, as Donald Duck Brown right there ends up getting a nice pass for 32 yards. So far, Andrew Luck is, playing pretty good. We're doing, equally good on both spectrums of the ball. We're running the ball well, we're passing the ball well, even though we got a drop pass by Avery. Avery dropped several passes this game. Just pay attention to, I even think I ended up taking him out for somebody. He was dropping so many passes, it was just utterly frustrating. right here we go to the left and we end up catching Brown right here. So right here is a good opportunity to score a touchdown and regain that 2-possession lead. So right here we go to Austin Collie, and it doesn't get us a first down, but it gets us, pretty close. We get to a 3rd and 3, and we end up handing the ball off, and we get stopped short of the end zone. So very next play, we end up going back to Austin Collie, and we end up scoring a touchdown. So we're up 17-7, and the Colts really, outside of Freeney and Mathis, they do have the cornerback. I can't think of his name right now, from Miami. They ended up getting, who's really good. But outside of him and Bethea, they really don't have too many great weapons. It's not like they have any shutdown corners. Davis, outside of Davis, they don't have any great linebackers, as I'm using Freeney and Mathis at linemen. And what sucks is they don't have, right there, nice bat down right there. I don't prefer playing with the best person on safety. Like if I have the Ravens, I'll switch Ed Reed to strong safety. That way I can just, freely use somebody at the free safety spot, because Ed Reed has to be on that field doing what Ed Reed does, and there's nobody that's fast enough for me to switch Bethea and me use at the other position. So I'm forced to use somebody too good, and I always say you cannot make a player better. I always got upset when I see somebody using Palumalu or using Ray Lewis the entire game. You cannot play better than Ray Lewis. You cannot play better than Palumalu. You cannot play better than Ed Reed. Let those guys do what they do. And if you got good users, then you'll do good with John Doe on the left and having Ed Reed on the field as well. So, I babbled on way too long about that. But, anyways, we get ball back at halftime right here. So scoring here would be, great. In order, we would be able to score and get ball back, so we could possibly go 14 unanswered points and spread the gap on this lead that we've created right here. So 2nd and 4, you see Andrew Luck goes to Brown, even though triangle is wide open, but he drops it. So 3rd and 4, we need this to avoid a special team. So we go to the running play. We get a first down, and again he started mixing in a little bit of Fagdy. And he called a lot of blitzes, so the running game was held in check at points, because he definitely made good defensive calls, and Arakpo was just shooting through the gaps and making a lot of stops. Right here, we're 1st and goal, and who do we go to? Of course, Austin Collie. I mean, he's our red zone target. He's coming through on the drag route, so we go to him. In 18 seconds left, we're up 10 points, so if we could stop him here and get ball back at halftime, if we could score, now we're up 17 points, and that right there is, a very tough lead to go ahead and come back from, especially in the second half, because you guys know your boy GS is going to kill that clock if I got a lead in the second half. So he ends up just running with RG3 right here, and very last play of the half with 2 seconds left, he backs up, and he just ends up taking off. So we're able to stop him just short of, even though he fumbles and recovers, but we end up stopping him, not able to score. So we get ball back, and this right here, again, to me is possibly the biggest possession of the game. Even though I do have a 2-score lead, I feel like this touchdown right here is potential. This makes this game a potential blowout. Then that means one more stop, and then we're probably going to concede here. So going up 17 points is crucial. If he's able to stop me and score, then he's got some momentum. So I want to be able to hold on to this momentum. Who do we go to? We go to Reginald Wayne, and of course, like I said, I'm going to try to go to him as much as possible, even though he only has 2 receptions. But my boy Austin Collie again coming through for the 3rd touchdown, 3-piece. Austin Collie is absolutely killing him on that drag route. So now we are up 31-14. And the scheme is working, pretty good for the Colts. And, we're running the ball, pretty decently. We're passing the ball, pretty decently as well, too. So we're definitely able to move the ball offensively. And defensively, we're doing pretty good. I mean, we could do better. Like, we could not let him score at all. But we are catching some breaks. He's dropping streaks and, things like that. So, right here he goes over the top, and I'm sorry, son. No soup for you. Vaughn ends up catching an interception. And I will say that the Colts definitely played better than their overall looks, this game. So, as the game was progressing, I looked at the overalls and I'm like, damn, I'm going to have a tough time stopping them. They're not too quick on cornerbacks. Their man-to-man isn't that great. Their zone isn't that great. But they played an overall pretty good game defensively. We're forced to punt right there. We didn't make anything happen. So we give him the ball back. And this is his opportunity to get back in this ball game. So RG3 ends up getting sacked right there. And that's what having, Freeney and Mathis, you put them there. They're both 90 pluses, so they can make a lot of things happen as RG3 forces a throw right there. We end up picking that off, and it's a pick six. So again, the defense played, to me, they played a lot better than what their overalls were. I really was expecting to struggle on defense because, again, their overalls really wasn't that high. But for the most part, surprisingly to me, they played, pretty well. For the most part, they were able to hold their own defensively and, make a lot of stops for me. So right there, he goes to the screenplay and he ends up getting a decent amount of yards right there. But at this point, we're up 24 and we feel like, this game is over. So right here, he goes to the up top. And I feel like I'm close enough for me to get a animation. Nice juke by me, broke like 3 coats. But that happens a lot this year. You guys know you're holding on to the Y button or the LB button. You just don't get an animation, even though it seems like he's close enough to bat the ball down or whatever. But anyways, right here he goes pretty much back to the same play that got him to this position, and it's a 3rd and go from the 4, and he ends up just running it and then throwing and getting a touchdown right there. Nice play on his part. So we still got an 18-point lead. So at this point, I'm not trying to be pretty. I'm not trying to score 1,000 points. I'm trying to, get the clock going. So, we're running the ball, but he does end up stopping that. So we got a 2nd and 10 here, and we drop back. We're lucky. We tried the screenplay, but it ends up just getting shut down. So 3rd and 11, if he stops me here, then, he could potentially make something happen. So we roll outside of the pocket. He's playing big faggy, so we're looking for somebody to get open. We're looking. Who do we find? We find R1 wide open, which is Moore, and he ends up coming through, and that right there was a huge conversion, because if we had the punt and he scored, things could have got a little dicey. So we go to Avery. He finally holds onto the ball right there, and right here we back up, and we try to go to Collie, but just a really bad read on my part. I seen him there, but I shouldn't have tested his users. I was disrespectful, but I tested his users and I failed miserably. So touchdown right here puts him back in his ball game, and he can, make something happen. Even though we are up 18 points, but as long as he scores, a lot of crazy things can happen to Madden, as you guys already know. I feel safer with me having the ball. So, he scores right here. Let's say he gets an onside kick, and onside kicks are, I don't know. They seem to be very high percentage of getting them back for whatever reason. But, now it's a 10-point ball game. He decided to kick it off to me, even though the kick goes out of bounds. So right here, again, is another crucial drive. If we get stopped here, then we might be in some trouble, because he's been moving the ball pretty well on offense. Right there, we go back to our playmaker, DeVIN. Excuse me, I got touchdowns to score. Oh, look at the hurdle. Look at the hurdle. I'm looking like Michael Johnson. I'm looking like Jackie Joyner. I'm looking like a boss. I'm out jumping everybody. Was that man a track star? Was that man just jumping the hurdles over there in high school? That was an excellent time to hurdle, and we end up scoring a touchdown. So now we got a deep breath. Now we feel like this game is ours. We feel like this game is done. Even if he scores, we were able to take some time off the clock. So even if he does scores, we should be okay and be able to bring this game home. And as you can see, we put up 46 points with the Colts so far. And I know you guys have been asking about the scheme. When is it coming out? And I love the fact that you guys are interested in wanting to watch the video breakdown on this scheme, and trust me, I'm really looking forward to doing it. And it's going to come out next Saturday, so look out for that next Saturday. I'm possibly going to need 2 days to do this video, so I might not do a video on the Friday, the day before, just to prepare the video. I don't know how long it's going to be. It can be anywhere from a half hour to an hour. I really don't know how long it's going to be, because I'm going to break down every single play, and I'm going to show you what route to beat man in zone, and it's going to be something people charge for. People charge for things like this, but I'm your boy GS, and I'm gonna look out for my supporters, and I'm gonna drop this, of course, for free of charge. I'm gonna look out for y'all. Y'all look out for me, so I'm gonna look out for y'all, and hopefully y'all can take something from this scheme and add it to your game, and maybe become just a little bit better. As we end up getting conceded right there, so we get 10 points out of it, and we pretty much dominated the game offensively, and to my surprise, the Colts played pretty good defensively. Me giving up only, even though 28 points is a lot, only 28 points, I feel like it was a good defensive game for me. And right here, you guys have been asking, GS, how come you don't show your record anymore? What are you hiding? Are you scared? Does your record suck? No, I just cut it out because just to save time on the video a little bit. But as you see, not after that game, but after the game I played yesterday, up to date. My record as of now is 31-9. I'm on a 9-game winning streak, so pretty good. Follow me on Twitter if you guys don't already. It's your boy signing out. Base. Give it to me, baby.